Good shot, old man. You hit bad?
Yes, damn you.
You came asking for it. I didn't send no invites. All right, get back. Sit back up. Where's the other two?
Out for a walk. Parnell's gonna kill you for this.
Sheriff down La Mesa's just waiting for you. So your best bet's east.
East.
Yeah, that's a life for an outlaw. Tough, ain't it?
The story begins when the Teal family travels west by wagon, heading into Indian territory. They arrive at their new home and plan to start a cattle ranch. The father, Jacob, promises his wife and children that he will ride out to buy a herd of cattle and return in exactly 1 month, but that promise is never fulfilled. On the way, Jacob's horse falls, pinning him underneath and causing internal bleeding. He dies alone on the vast prairie, with no one around to know. While waiting for her husband to return, Evie Teal has to manage the farm all by herself and take care of their 2 young children. One day, a passenger stagecoach unexpectedly stops in front of the Teal house. The people on the coach are surprised to find a woman and her 2 children living on this lonely road. They offer to use her house as a regular stop for passengers and ask her to serve meals to earn extra income. Teal agrees to take the job. Among the passengers is a man who warns Teal about a notorious gunman named Conagher, a dangerous drifter who is said to be extremely violent. Not long after, Conagher and his companion Mahler stop by the Teal farm by chance to rest and eat, although she had been warned that Conagher was a dangerous man. After seeing the way he behaves and speaks, Teal begins to see him differently. Even her older son develops a good impression of Conagher.
I like that Mr. Conagher. I don't know, he seems different than the others.
Yeah.
Soon afterward, the farm is suddenly attacked by a group of Native Americans. They want to take the horses and chickens if Teal does not provide them with food. But Teal and her children are not afraid. They bravely fight back against the attackers.
Tell that man to leave the horses alone!
Fortunately, the stagecoach returns just in time during the chaos.
One of the horses is down. Cut him loose, man.
Good work, Captain.
Much obliged, Mrs. Teal. Saved my life for sure.
By the next morning, the group of Native Americans gives up and retreats deep into the prairie. As for Conagher, at this time he and Mahler are working for an elderly ranch owner named Seaborn Tay. The old man hires both of them to tend to and protect his cattle herd. Conagher quickly proves himself to be a hard-working, skilled, and reliable cowboy. However, Tay's ranch is constantly threatened by the Ladder 5 gang, led by the outlaw Smoke Parnell. The gang keeps trying to steal Tay's cattle. One evening, Mahler suddenly says that continuing this job will only lead to a bad end because they have to face the Ladder 5 gang. Conagher thinks differently. He believes that since he has taken Tay's money, he must do everything he can to protect the old man's cattle. This disagreement causes a conflict.
Damn you, Con, you're pushing me. They're gonna clean that old man out by spring. You're a damn fool.
Seems to me I'm the one who's being pushed. You can throw your pack on your horse and ride out of here tonight, or you can go for that gun.
All right. I'm pulling out.
And Mahler decides to leave and join the Ladder 5 gang. One day, while watching the herd, Conagher suddenly spots Smoke and 2 other men riding into Tay's grazing land. Conagher draws his gun, stands on high ground, and shoots, causing Smoke to fall from his horse.
Get on, damn it, get on!
This unintentionally sparks a war. The next morning, Conagher is attacked by Smoke's men, but with his skills, The outlaws are no match for him.
You hit bad? You came asking for it. I didn't send no invites.
Are you gonna help me?
You got a man hurt down here?
Hold your fire! I'm coming down.
You want to come and get him? Put your rifle down and come on!
However, Conagher does not treat his opponents as enemies. He lets the wounded man rest on his own bed and bandages the man's wounds. Nevertheless, because the injury is too severe, the man dies that night. A few days later, Conagher receives news that their cattle herd has been stolen by Smoke's men. He immediately sets out to track them down. On the way, he stops at Teal's house to rest because a sudden storm hits that night. While having dinner, he learns that the outlaws are hiding in an abandoned house not far from Teal's home.
Seen any cows?
Yes, sir. I think they're being held in a corral over back of us. Back in the mountains a few miles.
The next morning, Conagher rides out alone to attack them.
All right, get back. Where's the other two?
Parnell's gonna kill you for this.
Sheriff down La Mesa's just waiting for you.
Because the cattle herd has already gone too far from Tay's ranch, Conagher asks Teal's son to join him in driving the herd to the nearby town of La Mesa to sell. While on the way back to Tay's ranch, Conagher is suddenly ambushed and shot by the Ladder 5 gang. Although seriously wounded, he manages to hide and evade them throughout the day. At night, he sneaks into the Ladder 5 camp and single-handedly holds the entire gang at gunpoint.
Damn you, Parnell. Just lay there and don't even scratch. Parnell, I'm gonna ride out of here. And you boys are gonna get up and leave the country. You had your try at me and you failed. Come noon tomorrow, I'm gonna come hunt you.
Meet your maker, Conagher!
Weak from blood loss, he collapses. Parnell could easily kill Conagher at that moment. But strangely, he orders his men to take the wounded Conagher back to Seaborn Tay. Perhaps he respects the fact that Conagher is a real man who is willing to risk his life to do his job properly. The very next day, the entire Ladder 5 gang withdraws from the land. Throughout the time Conagher is away, Evie Teal quietly writes anonymous poems to express her loneliness. She ties each poem to the tumbleweeds rolling across the prairie. Meanwhile, Conagher keeps chasing those tumbleweeds all over the grassland during his journeys, but he has no idea that the woman who wrote the poems is Evie. When Conagher recovers, he tells Tay that he wants to continue drifting again. Tay urges him to stay and offers him a share of the ranch for all his contributions, but Conagher is a wanderer at heart and feels he cannot settle down. Before leaving town, he stops at the saloon. The stagecoach manager buys him a drink and tells him that tumbleweed fever is spreading all over the region. Many cowboys have found poems tied to tumbleweeds and are wondering who the woman who wrote them is. The manager also mentions that the Teal family has just gone through an extremely harsh winter, but has managed to survive through their resilience. He advises Conagher to visit Evie, but Conagher only shakes his head and says he plans to head north. However, right after that, Conagher returns to Teal's house with some food as a gift. Evie invites him to stay for dinner and persuades him to remain for a few days to help repair the roof and do other heavy chores. After a few days, he says it is time for him to leave. He gives Evie some money for food and tells her that he really wants to come back, but he does not want to become a burden to her. Conagher rides away on his horse, leaving Teal and the two children filled with regret. In town, Conagher plans to get drunk before continuing his journey north, but he runs into Mahler, who is heavily intoxicated in the saloon. The two men argue heatedly and start punching each other. At that exact moment, Evie Teal walks into the saloon. She sees the injured Conagher and says gently, It's time for you to come home. Conagher pulls a few tumbleweed poems from his coat pocket and asks if she is the one who wrote them. Evie admits it in a trembling voice. She says she was so lonely that she had to write them to talk to someone, even if no one would hear. Conagher smiles warmly and whispers, "Yes, Evie, I'm here. I've always been here." They embrace and kiss under the dim yellow glow of the oil lamp in the saloon. Conagher says they can start a new life together. Evie smiles happily through her tears. The two of them hold hands and walk out of the saloon, beginning their journey home. If you like video, please like and subscribe for my channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to watch more great videos.